Hello, parents. Welcome back to school. Tonight is back to school night, and I wanted to send out a quick little video to introduce myself, kind of go over some frequently asked questions about anatomy and physiology, and kind of talk to you about the syllabus a little bit for those who are interested. We don't have a whole lot of time in class for me to go over everything, unfortunately. So, in case you have questions, you can always ask later on. My name is Miss Vo. My email is on the screen. It's v.vo@tcusd.net. You can also contact me through Aries or Parent Square, whichever is easiest for you. I have office hours on Fridays for, excuse me, any students with questions, or they can stop by at any time for office hours. Honestly, I'm usually in my classroom. So, a couple of things. It is important, first and foremost, that students are focused and paying attention during class. That being said, there is no cell phone use without given permission from me. Sometimes I understand that students have left their laptops at home and they need to use their cell phones to do assignments or what have you. But for the most part, I request that students either keep their cell phones in their backpacks or turn it into a phone box for safekeeping during the class period. If at any point you need to contact your student, please call the school so that the school can pull the student out and give them the message. Students might not always have access to their phones, so if you are trying to contact them for emergency purposes or what have you, they may not get the message. And mainly, again, this is just so that students are focused and working in class as they should be. Parents always ask what materials their student needs. There's nothing that really is needed beyond the regular school materials, pencils, pens, highlighters, things like that. Some projects that we do in class may require students to find art supplies around the house. I encourage them to recycle, reduce, reuse when they can. And so hopefully they're, saving scraps and things like that sometimes to work on these projects. Are there any materials that are needed in the classroom? Anytime that students have a project and there's extra materials left over, I always ask if they're not going to use it, they don't want it, they're just going to throw it away, to donate it to the classroom for use in the following year. And if you are interested in making any donations to the classroom in terms of materials and supplies, please do contact me and I can kind of talk to you about that as well. I appreciate any donations. It is not necessary at all. We can make it through this year without any, but in case you feel like you would like to, then please do send me an email. These are the body systems that are going to be covered in school or in class. The red is absolutely will cover. The pink is dependent upon time. For those who have taken anatomy and physiology in college, like it's a 2-year course. It takes a long time to do all of the 11 systems in the body. But we do what we can here in class. So the other thing to take note of is that I don't lecture in class because students zone me out, right? So I have a flipped classroom. That means that at home, they're expected to take notes once in a while. It's a quick 15 to 30-minute YouTube video, kind of like this one. And I give them an outline where they fill in the blanks to take notes. And when they are in class, they're going to do all of their activities. They're going to do all their worksheets. They're going to do all their assignments. They're going to do all their projects, labs, things like that. The only time they have stuff to bring home is if they didn't finish during the class period. The reason why I'm doing this is so that students have me to ask questions of in case something is confusing, I can clarify. And also having my notes online, because note-taking isn't something that needs to be done in class. But since my notes are online, if students are ever absent or sick or they had to go on a vacation or family emergency, they still have access to everything and they don't miss anything from class at all, except maybe assignments, right? Here's the grade breakdown. It's the usual, right? 90, 80, 70. You need a 67%, or sorry, a 63%. No, I'm reading this all wrong. A 58% or higher. I'm so sorry. In order to get at least a D minus, 70% for the C minus. As you can see from how the grades are broken down, the majority of their grade, or like a bigger chunk of their grade, has to do with the projects that we give in class, right? So that's where they're going to have most of their grade done. Between projects and labs, that's over 55% of their grades. Tests and quizzes only count for 1/4 because I'm less concerned about what they can regurgitate and give back to me and more concerned with what can they show me, right? What can you show me that you can do? What can you show me that you can take this information and apply it? So if they have missing projects that you see on their Canvas grades or what have you, please do ask your student to work on those or ask them where it is or what have you. Assignments are 15% and then worksheets are 5. Worksheets are only worth a small amount, but they're important because I allow students to use them on their quizzes, which we'll talk about in a little bit as well. So it's important that students get all the work in. Okay. How much homework do you give? Absolutely nothing. It's just taking notes at home, parents. And what's going to happen is at the bottom of every YouTube video that has to be with notes, um, you can ask them, or there will be a link. Sorry, I will try to link the outline so that if you wanted to double check to make sure your student has done the notes, you can have them show you, right? You can also just look at the video because it's the slides basically is what's on the outlines. Students do not have to use the outlines. I don't check their notes. I believe that it's part of taking responsibility also for your education that you are keeping on top of those notes. Again, as I said, it lets them take it at their own pace. Anytime they're missing class, they're not losing out on information. And if they have any assignments at home, it's because they didn't finish it in the classroom. I also don't believe in giving homework over the weekend, right? All of those things, because weekend is family time. Projects, there's a lot of projects. Each body system is going to have at least one major project to work, and some may require group work. Some projects may require presentations. And if you know that your student has severe social anxiety where it's difficult for them to speak in public to others, then please have them encourage them to come speak with me so that I can give them an alternative presentation process, right? So that they don't have to have the fear of presenting in front of the whole class. I also don't believe in final exams. Like there's no big test that they have to study for. It is just a project that they'll be working on at the end of each semester. And I usually give them about 2 weeks or so in class to work on it. That way they can focus on studying for other classes and their finals, and especially springtime where they have AP exams, a lot of them. Okay. I also get asked about dissections. We only have one required dissection, and that's going to be hearts. I did get sheep hearts this year, so we're going to look at that. They can also sign up as an after-school activity to dissect a fetal pig. I don't give credit for it just because there aren't enough pigs for everybody, and it wouldn't be fair for me to offer extra credit or anything else for students that, sign up first, right? It is a first come first serve thing, and because I don't have 100 pigs, unfortunately, but with that, I ask that the students, if they start a dissection, they have to agree to finish it, because otherwise it's a huge waste of resources for a group that would have finished had they been given the chance. And dissections start in October for the pigs. There is a big extra credit project each semester, smaller opportunities throughout. I give them these things called tickets that they can earn in order to, bolster their grade if they need a little bit of extra help. If you come into back to school night, you can see what those projects are. I'll have them out on display for you to look at, right? But they also get a free retake for each semester. So they can retake any quiz at any time for free. After that, it requires tickets in order to retake it. I also do test corrections after they do their test. So they take a test, I grade it, I give it back to them. And then we spend a day in class where they can use their notes or any other resources that they have in order to fix their errors. Okay, because I believe that they should learn from their mistakes and not just accept the fact that they got a bad grade, right? So hopefully that way it'll help students learn anatomy and not just make it through the class. Test also can be retaken, but it requires, I want to say, 8 tickets to retake. So I don't have free retakes for tests, just for quizzes. Okay. Apologies that it's so fast. I was trying to keep this as short as possible. The best way to contact me is through email. Again, that's v.vo@tcusd.net. There's also a link to the syllabus in the description of this video in case you need or want a digital copy. For those who need it in a different language, you can go to Tools and then scroll down to Translate, and it will translate to any language that you would like. I hope to see you this evening at Back to School Night, and have a great day.